The best resource is resourcefulness. Nobody can take your resourcefulness away. When I moved to Charlotte, no money, no connections, new city, no brand, no awareness, no nothing, no brick and mortar, no bank account, no LLC, nothing. Knocked on 1,000 doors, sent 1,000 emails, voluntarily got myself into 250 live TV segments across the Southeast, made my way to Fox and Friends with Geraldo on Avenues of America, earned $25 million of earned media with no money, zero money.
Now, as it stands, nearly 94% of you who watch the podcast are not currently subscribed. Our goal is 75%. If you have enjoyed any of the podcasts we've posted, if you could please take a moment and subscribe, you have no idea how much it helps. Not only does it help the podcast, but it helps the channel and the guests we can get on the show. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
Yeah, so the culture is carried forward by the 3,000 trainers, right? Like, we all have an extremely high standard. They embody championship culture as well. Our VP of Fitness, Matt Morris, myself, our programmer, Travis Madonna, our education fitness specialist, former head trainer of the year, Katie Bell, her team. Like, we are the tip of the spear, but our trainers, it's very important to us to focus on our team members, our trainers, our franchise partners first, and make sure that their experience in this organization is top notch, right? And like, I'll say that publicly because even the membership is a close, very, very close second, but franchise partners, trainers are what are going to carry this culture forward. And so, the high fives, a culture that the celebration culture, it'd be like the same thing if the New York Mets turned over Juan Soto and or the Yankees got rid of Aaron Judge and they have gotten rid of Derek Jeter in the past and Alex Rodriguez. When somebody hits a home run, guess what they still do? Right? Because it is ingrained into the culture. And we want to celebrate each other. We genuinely want to do it. And so I think Burn is going to be the catalyst to like make high fives way more regular in public. Like, instead of like handshakes, right? Like, we got 160,000 members now at 476 gyms, or 467 gyms, excuse me. And so if you can do a visual for me real quick, imagine like the big house, the University of Michigan Stadium. We're filling 2 of those up with our membership. And that's always a good visual for me, because look at the amount of responsibility that we have as trainers, and that's the way that they're advanced, they're worthy of complex information, they're worthy of forging new territory, they're worthy of being pioneers of an organization, literally inventing personal training and inserting that into a group setting with true periodization, true progressive overload, true human movement patterns and personal records with the associated exercises, real San Francisco Giant, Central Michigan Chippewa style training that's timeless, strength and conditioning focused, and then you get these amazing minds and talent on our platform. Oh, they start to become community superstars right away, and they love it. I love it. We all love it. We want to be that. We want to be that. We want to have the impact. It's not ego-driven. It's impact-driven. There's some ego that gets in there too because we're trainers. So
good ego.
Kick them out because the cultural pressure applies that to them, and I don't have to do it anymore. In 2017-18, it was the what if DK got hit by a bus conversation. Now we don't hear that anymore because it's. The brand is bigger than, like, the country is bigger than the president that occupies the Oval Office. The brand is bigger than the visionary that occupies the seat or the trainer that occupies the mic.
Yeah, I love it. I'm a believer. You make me want to give a high five to someone right now. I'm probably going to go do it after. Boom. I think we will see it out in public more often.
If you see somebody that goes to Burn, they're already doing it with like everyone they see, but most importantly, like the gas station people, the grocery store people, the fast food people reaching through their car to high five them. Hopefully it's not like Burger King that they're going through, but maybe some Chipotle or something like that. Anyhow,
I love it. I want to ask you 2 questions. One about, and again, audience is a lot of folks that are looking at becoming franchisees, whether it's their 20th one or their first one. What's something, because you guys are so particular in a good way about who you allow into the system, the level of excellence, the standard, et cetera. What is something that needs to be true for you about a discovery day candidate, someone that's made it all the way through, they're coming to see you guys in person, for you to grant them a multi-unit deal?
Well, I could go through all of the validation, but at the end of the day, it is, can we, meaning our C-suite, our 4 C-suite, and a unanimous hell yeah, that's the standard. Nobody can detract and nobody can hesitate. And if that's the case, usually what you're going to find behind that is all of the validation requirements of the, 750 credit score and the, 250,000 liquid net worth per unit, that type of stuff. What we're really looking for is hell yes means, translated into Devan language, is in championship culture language really is, if we put this new franchise partner in front of a room full of our current franchise partners, will they impress them? Will they be impressed upon them, or will they perceive this person as being mediocre? And not that the person might be mediocre, but their acumen, their experience, their energy. If their energy is mediocre, you can't be in the energy company, the confidence company. You can't be in that company. We're not a fitness company who sells memberships. We're a marketing company. We're a confidence company that sells people on themselves. And if you aren't sold on yourself, then you can't sell others. You can't transfer the energy that you don't have. And that's kind of a little, philosophy in what we look for. So it's much like the eye test in sports, when you just look at a team and you're like, oh yeah, that team's impressive right there. Yeah, they have this talent. Yeah, they have the traits. Yeah, they have the characteristics, but they also have the intangibles that you can't measure. The love for the partner that they have, or the, just the intrinsic life transformation that has happened. The vast majority of our franchise partners were members first. Right. And we're now, at 467 locations open, we're now starting to attract the institutional investors. We always have, but we're now starting to attract them intentionally. And we're actually starting to say yes to some of them, rather than saying, no, it's like, I love that world, but it's like, our culture isn't solidified yet. Championship culture is not ingrained yet. I only want that sector of entrepreneurship to come into the business once we've established the culture of Burn, the championship culture, and it's what you buy into, rather than coming into the brand and saying, oh, you guys got it screwed up. I've been in way bigger brands before this. You got some work to do. Like you mentioned, and you kind of notice, we are tight and we are on our shit. That's because we are compound. We don't worry about the quarter. We worry about 10-year outlook. And so we're compounding strategy. We're not racing to put Band-Aids over bullet holes when we have problems.
Yep. I love that. I got one more question that ties into some of that institutional money too, before we hit some quick hitter questions to close it out. And the last kind of meatier question is, you've been pretty open about, we're refusing to bring on outside private equity to fuel growth. Why is that? What's behind that? What's the kind of belief and thesis there?
It's a very logical one. I think it's a rational one. I'm usually not such a rational person, but I think this one's really rational, right? So here's kind of the logic. It's like, okay, do you need capital? Well, we're doing very well. We don't need capital, okay? We can get traditional capital. If we really want to put debt on the company, we can get traditional capital, no problem, way cheaper. So we don't need capital in order to reach our goals. All right, number 2, do we need growth? Do we need the smart side of the capital? And the answer is, obviously, you could always have more talent in the building. However, I've always believed in that, as I study my heroes like Howard Schultz and Todd Graves and Sam Walton and all the Arthur Blank and all the brick and mortar kind of 4-wall geniuses. It's I'd have to be stupid not to see the obvious common denominator, that they like equity a lot. And there's a reason private equity companies want to come in and they want to, get equity, is because 97% of the billionaires that are built on equity. They're built on brand. They're built on business, and small minority built on like real estate and other things like that. So I'm following Tony Robbins' advice, which is success leaves clues. I'm a student of the game. I study I know more about Howard Schultz's journey than probably anybody else in the world outside of his closest people, because I wanted to understand what I didn't know. So private equity could bring curiosity. It could bring new perspectives, but I don't need a new perspective because I have so much curiosity. And so as long as I'm able to prove to myself that I can get my way to people like Kevin Hart and get an authentic brand partnership where Kevin Hart is not only an small equity owner in the business, but Kevin Hart is also a franchise partner, right? And he's also an executive partner with Morgan and I. Like right here, right now, I'd text Kevin, he'd say, hey, listen, I can connect you with this person or that person. He is here for us and our leadership team. We have proven that we can get these connections and that we can, through Kevin, we have a network of people, network of brands, a network of partnerships. There's another huge partnership that I'm not ready to release yet, but it's coming, and it's in the likeness of Kevin's partnership. And we're doing things like this that prove to ourselves in the outside world that we don't need the growth smart side of capital, right? Brand awareness is our biggest thing, right? Yep. What private equity brings to the table for brands, and this is why it's so attractive to me, is it can bring the capital. Like I said, that we don't need the capital. What we needed was the awareness, and the awareness piece was the hardest puzzle to solve. Okay, because think about it. Where do media outlets go in a consolidated way to get the vast majority of what's popping in business? Mm-hmm. Private equity, banks, the financial sector, the financial institution, the one-stop shop to all these investments. Here's how they're going. Here's how they're doing. I got the pulse on this. Nobody's calling DK to find out like what's going on in the entrepreneur world. Like, we're going to have to make so much noise that they can't ignore who we are, right? Yep. Sam Walton flew under the radar for his first 40 stores, came up out of nowhere, and Target and Kmart were like, what is this guy? You know what he did? He kept his equity, invested it into a plane, a little prop plane, and he flew back in his day around the territories to do site selection and real estate selection. Oh, there's Target. Guess where? There's a Walmart right there. Build that one, have cheaper prices, save people money, make their life better, siphon all the Kmart and Target customers away. Boom. And he flew under the radar. So when he came out and came on top, people started knowing who he was already so far ahead that nobody could recreate what he had. And so that's the recipe that we have at Burn. Nobody knows who we are, like our members do in the Burn world, and like people adjacent to that think it's big. It's not. Like with that next level is that Kevin Hart level, and that's getting the brand awareness. And so what my rationale is, what does private equity bring to the table? Yep. And then what do I have on my table? And does what I have on my table make more sense than what they want to put on the table? Now, the last thing that I'll say is money is not important to me. Money is a vehicle for freedom for my family to make memories. And on the professional side, it's to help more people create freedom for themselves and make memories for their families. I could have sold this business for $100 million at 28, 29 years old. Why would I do that? I already had more money at that time than I ever had growing up, but I was buying chocolate milk. You know what I mean? Like I didn't need to have anything other than the chocolate milk. I just wanted to be flat with society. And I don't need fancy stuff. I don't need 7 houses. I don't need cars. I don't need $100 million, right? What I want is a legacy. What I want is the Kline name to mean something, and for my kids and their kids and their kids and their kids and their kids to know me and know Morgan and realize that they didn't know anybody before that, right? And I hope that's what our franchise partners want. I hope they want a founder, a leader, a visionary who wants legacy, right, over some short-term reward. And so that's the way we'll run the company. And what we'll do in 20 years from today, who knows? But, when it's all said and done, maybe Morgan and I are both co-chairman emeritus in 25 years, 30 years from today. And, maybe we own the San Francisco Giants at that point. Who knows? Maybe that's the second act.
But you got a location on the moon.
That's in the location on the moon. But that's where my head's at.
DK, this was awesome. I can see why you guys have built such an incredible brand and why you're the visionary. I mean, you got me inspired and fired up to go attack the day-to-day in a way that's more than it usually is, which is a lot. I want to wrap with a few quick hitters for you, quick kind of like punchy questions, punchy answers, and then we'll wrap up. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it's hard for me to be punchy, as you can tell.
I'm going to challenge you.
I'm going to channel our CDO, Jason Lasco. He spent a lot of time at Exponential Fitness, a lot of time at Wellbiz Brands, and he's our new addition to the C-suite. And he is very concise when he speaks, and I'm learning a lot from him how to be a little bit more concise. But I'm a storyteller, I got to have a little bit of that verboseness, I guess. But I'll be punchy for this one, okay? I'm a chameleon. Let's go.
Your storytelling is unmatched. It really is. It truly is inspirational. I love everything that you've had to say. For the first one, though, the parking lot or the pro baseball field, which one taught you more about business?
The pro baseball field, 100%. I knew nothing about leadership until I had that experience.
And was that because it taught you how to build a team or work with a team and lead a team? Was that the biggest thing that you got away from that?
Two things. It showed me what to do because I was on championship squads, and it showed me what not to do because I was on not championship squads. And you get to see the difference. The difference is accountability. That's it. That's the only difference. Extreme ownership and accountability.
I love it. What is one micro goal that you refuse to miss every single day?
To wake up and be useful, to solve a problem. I'll have the vision, but there's also a problem that I can solve today. And I hope that everyone in Burn Nation wakes up and tries to find a new problem and bring forth an idea and a solution to solve that problem. That's the definition of what often people will say, play without fear. Play fearless. Mm-hmm. Don't play to not lose, play to win. That means find problems, seek them, be in love with them, have an issues list at the top of your mind every single day. Go solve it.
I love that. What's your best advice for an entrepreneur who currently feels like they have zero resources?
Oh, man, you led me right into my favorite quote of all time. And guess who it comes from, Alex?
Howard Schultz.
No, you're close. Tony Robbins. All right, he's a close second. I'll quote him. The best resource is resourcefulness. Nobody can take your resourcefulness away. When I moved to Charlotte, no money, no connections, new city, no brand, no awareness, no nothing, no brick and mortar, no bank account, no LLC, nothing. Knocked on 1,000 doors, sent 1,000 emails, voluntarily got myself into 250 live TV segments across the Southeast, made my way to Fox and Friends with Geraldo on Avenues of America, earned $25 million of earned media with no money, zero money. I was inspired by Chris Powell. Shout out to CP. That's my dog. He in ABC's Extreme Weight Loss Makeover, he landed that show and became famous for a transformational once-in-a-lifetime trainer because he had spent his whole career in the state of Arizona getting local TV segments and capitalizing on earned media. And so shout out to my boy CP for inspiring a little bit of the early days of Burn Boot Camp. And that's what resourcefulness is. Last thing I'll say is Morgan and I drove 5 hours to Alabama. We didn't even have a gym in Alabama. We didn't even have any interest. Nobody who knew who we were. 5 hours, did a 2-minute and 30-minute segment, or 2-minute and 30-second segment, drove back 5 hours. Right? So be resourceful, say yes, be opportunistic, don't be cocky, don't be arrogant. You have time. I still have time. The reason I'm here today, I'm financially well beyond the point where I need to do anything in the public eye to promote Burn or anything like that. The reason I'm here today is because I want to serve and I want to give back, and I want to pay it forward. And if I leave anybody with anything, it's that's the best advice you could ever get, is you don't need anything outside of yourself. Belief in your own resourcefulness, my friends.
I love that. I love it. And then the last one for you is, what's one thing that you hid for years or maybe ashamed of that you now look back on and realize was, this defining moment for you, or maybe it's a huge strength, but something that you used to be, maybe imposter syndrome, maybe, again, something that you felt you had to hide from or were embarrassed of?
Yeah, I'm too good of a person, and I know that, to have imposter syndrome, and I work too hard to have imposter syndrome, so I don't get that. There's something underlying that imposter syndrome. You need to do deep character work and figure out why you feel that way. Because if you work hard and you're a good human being and you don't lie, and that to me is something that is a choice, not something that's just done on to you. I mean, it's a sign that you haven't done any work or enough work. Personally, what I grew up without direction. I grew up with no faith, no spirituality, no religious point of view. And, didn't have one for a long time. And I would say, I'm agnostic, or I'm trying to figure out, because I didn't have anybody that taught me for the first 20 years of my life anything at all, right? So I'm like, I don't know. What is an atheist? What is Jesus? I don't even know what this stuff is. Like, somebody help me. I always felt a void, but I always pushed off that spirit. And then when I gave my life to Jesus Christ, man, it was a game changer for me. I had a model to follow. I had a belief system. It was the last hole that my parents had left for me to figure out on my own, which I'm so glad they did. And I will never regret going through the hours and hours and hours I've spent studying and learning both sides of that equation and following the evidence and figuring out who I am and what I really believe. And, when I gave my life up to Christ, it changed my life because it allowed me to worship something more than business. Worship something more than success. Worship something more than the legacy that the positive vision that I have of leaving this legacy for my family that's still selfish. And I'll leave a legacy for my family if I love God, love Jesus, love my neighbor, love you, love Jordan, see God and everybody. And the number one way it's changed my life on a daily basis is, Father, please forgive me, for they know not what they've done. And if somebody is belittling me or, whatever, you run into those rude people, the frustrated people, you run into anybody. I just have this new outlook that's like, see the good in this interaction right now. And please forgive them for their being a rascal, or whatever. Call them a little name and forgive them for being such an arrogant rascal right now. However, I still love them. And I love them so much, to be honest with them. And it's changed my relationship with people. I do not bury things under the rug anymore to the degree that I used to. So I'm much more confident as a human. I have nothing to hide. I have no shame. All that stuff's kind of gone away.
Yeah, I love it. DK, thank you so much for taking your time. I know how busy you guys are. This is wildly helpful. My goal with all these is always, if we get one nugget out there, a couple nuggets that help someone get the courage, the confidence, whatever it was that they needed to hear to go take that step, to go chase their dream, to become an entrepreneur, to take the risk and confidence in themselves to do it, it was well worth the time together. And I got to know more about you and the business and your family. And I really appreciate you taking this time and sharing your wisdom with our audience and with me.
Yeah, let's go. Clip this thing up. I think there's lots of nuggets in here. There's like a 12-piece nugget in here somewhere. We got our team on our side. We're going to clip it up. Your team on your side. You guys are cool. We enjoy, we love the franchising industry. Look, seriously, such an amazing vehicle. So much so that part of my next chapter is I want to add value to the industry itself. And I think we've been able to create a really unique company that has some pretty cool and unique outlooks and points of view to stand on the shoulders of an industry that has literally shaped America and shaped the way Western business and really global business is done. And wow, what an amazing vehicle. And for anybody that ever kind of shits on franchising or the vehicle, it's no, you just don't have the balls to have accountability in your organization. It's not that you lose control. You just don't have validation. You just don't have people around you that you want to be around. Right? And that's my true outlook. And we run Burn Boot Camp like that. I hope other franchisors can take the mentality of a fiduciary obligation, a moral responsibility to make sure that the people you surround yourself with are successful, even if it means despite your own success. Yep, absolutely. Well said. And again, thank you again. And I'm looking forward to hopefully catching up in person at some point. And let's do it. When you're ready to do stuff beyond Burn and in the franchise ecosystem, let me know, because that's the mission we're on here with Franzi, is how do we help the ecosystem continue to rise every brand and every person with it. Well, that's how great partnerships work. Plug me in. Anything you ever need, I'll plug you in my world. Thank you. I appreciate it, DK. All right, take care. Take care.
YouTube has this new algorithm using AI that takes all your viewing behavior and recommends a video. So the algorithm says that this video is the best video for you. Check it out.